Hello, welcome to the end of the year New Year's cast. I was just gonna ask for people's thoughts on my first episode of What the Fuck Japan. Um, if you watched it, if you didn't, I'll just give a synopsis of the episode. Um, this year we're gonna be doing lists. We're gonna get the bad news out of the way first because, like The Godfather, we want to hear bad news first. Top 10 2014 moments this year. I was gonna go first just to get the ball rolling, and then everyone else would jump in. So without further ado, um, uh, well, yeah. Without further ado, let's get down. Let's get into it. Um, Number 10 is multiple console gaming hacks. This shit's ridiculous. It seems like every 3 months the Sony PSN's down for something, and I mean, really, look, listen. I understand a lot of these people are trying to make a statement, but some of these people are greedy and trying to steal people's information, and that shit's fucked up. And most of these people who are hackers, if they spent their time, the time and energy that they dedicate for this shit, if they put it into getting a degree or a trade, they would have a steadier form of income that isn't illegal. Number 9 is just in general Ubisoft's bullshit this year. This year was a category study in seeing a company, like, when this year started, Ubisoft was strong. Like, Watch Dogs was going to come out, and they were like, man, Watch Dogs sold all this shit, sold 5 million units. Well, it shipped 5 million units. It didn't sell 5 million units. And, and then we're going to delay it for the Wii U to utilize the extra features, which was a load of bullshit. And, it was embarrassing. And then we gradually saw, like, the facade fell down, and we saw Ubisoft for what they are, a bunch of greedy, lazy bastards, except for Michel Ancel and his team, and the indie studios that they bought out to make Child of Light and that World War I tactical game. Number 8, microtransactions. Now, I know what some people are going to say. Well, microtransactions have been in mobile gaming for years. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people putting microtransactions in full-on retail games. EA and Ubisoft and Activision, I'm looking at you, you bastards. Number 7 is bullshit from Microsoft. Microsoft has been messing up. They've been caught in another lie. We don't have online DRM, yet when your system's down, people can't play certain games. That's online DRM, you dumb motherfucker. And let's not forget, you guys said that, first of all, maybe Major Nelson was right. That tool was right. It wasn't something you could just flip the switch on. Maybe it's ingrained in the system. But I'll give Microsoft this much. They were up front with their bullshit. Unlike number 6 on my list, bullshit from Sony. They were sneaky with their, oh, well, we can't tell people, we can't let people know that we have DRM. It's, they're sneaky. They slipped you a Mickey and then molested you. Number 5 is third parties just dropping the ball all around. And the best game that I can really use to illustrate this is Assassin's Creed Unity. That game was hyped. They were like I remember it. I remember last year when like Ubisoft was like, well, the reason we're not going to be making Assassin's Creed for like across all consoles is because we want to focus on the next gen consoles. We want to really focus on the quote unquote next gen consoles. And the reason it's not coming to the Wii U is because it doesn't have the hardware that we need in order to do it. Well, that was bullshit because apparently they can't get the shit to run well on anything. PC, PS4, Xbox One, it just doesn't run well. which leads me to number 4. When Sony surrendered to North Korea with nary a shot fired. I find that hilarious. And the sad thing is that, you know, they lost face either way. You know, because it's just a fucking movie. I mean, it's like Disney, like the Catholic Church threatened to boycott Disney when they made that movie that was talking about the priests molesting children, and Disney was like, fuck you, we're going to release it any damn way. Which proves one thing: Mickey Mouse has bigger balls than Sony. And that's just that's sad.
You have to reiterate it like this. Company mascot has bigger balls than a company itself.
No, Mickey Mouse is the personification of Disney, and Mickey Mouse has bigger balls than Sony. And Sony's mascot used to be Nico Nico, which is a cat, and that's ironic. A mouse has bigger balls than a cat. That's sad. Number 3, the Game of the Year was by the Game of the Year awards was fucking Dragon Age Inquisition. Close, but no cigar. That's all I'm going to say about that. The Game Awards in general just really. This is number 2. The Game Awards in general. I'm glad that they're trying to elevate gaming into more of a mainstream type thing, but some of the people that they got to judge this thing, their credibility is not very good, and a lot of people went into the judging as with an agenda, and that shit is wrong. You can't judge something with an agenda. Like you can't go into, it's like someone giving you a blind taste test. You can't go into a blind taste test already thinking, they're like, okay, we're gonna give you a blind taste test between 2 types of pizza, and you're automatically like, I don't want a whole wheat crust. How the fuck are you gonna know if you don't want a whole wheat crust until you've tasted it? You know, you can't go in with an agenda. And my number 1 top 10 worst moment this year is a lot of people believing that what their perception is the reality. So what I mean is like people believing that the Wii U is weak without any evidence to support that. So they go around trolling people. The Wii U is weak. The Wii U is weak. Or people thinking that the PS4 is like people thinking that their $500 Xbox One, sorry, $350. Sorry, because they lowered the price and took a $225 hit. $350 Xbox One or $399 PS4 are really powerful gaming consoles. And to tell you the truth, they are modestly more powerful than the Xbox 360 or the PS4. Not really. What I would call all-powerful. And people need to realize that shit. You know, perception does not equal reality. You know, like, I'm sure when we were kids, we'd see it raining outside, and we'd think, man, it must be raining all over the world. That's bullshit. That your perception says that it's raining. It's raining where you live. It might be dry as a bone a state over. So don't fucking think that your perception equals the reality of what's going on all around you. And those are my top 10 worst 2014 moments. Who wants to go next?
No, let me go next.
Okay.
All right. Now this is Triple M's 10 worst of 2014. Now, number 10 is Comcast community manager Dina Williams of Mighty Number 9, and she just literally bans people from just mentioning the word Gamergate. That is some sad thing right there, and not to mention this is not the first time she's doing something off the wall controversials, and about that after that whole ordeal that there wasn't any um they're not they're not giving money back to the people that pledged the pledge number Mighty Number Nine. Well, after that happened, I think it was a day, 1 day after, they were forced to do refunds. So yeah, it's it's just to me, it just brings this whole thing just brings questions or the validity of this whole this Kickstarter of Mighty Number Nine, which um I'm not gonna get further into that. This is Event State has really put up a good word on that. All right, number 9 is the timed exclusivity deals. I'm sorry, but when the bloody hell did this type of tactic became such a good idea? It just baffles me to no end. You mean you're going to pay for a game to be on your console, not indefinitely, or not even for this generation, just maybe 3 to 6 months. What's the point in that, huh? Well, now on to uh, number 8. It's what I like to call the remakes and remasters floods. I mean, seriously, we know such business model exists, but when it comes to a point that these remakes and remasters are actually much more than original games that's supposed to be coming on a next gen quote unquote systems, you start to wonder if these next gen systems are actually next gen. Yes, the whole word next gen is popping out here, but and yeah, on to next number 7. Anything Marvel related game stripped from PlayStation Network or even Xbox Live. At the time when this happened, we really did not know what the hell was going on. But you know what? We should have prepared for the worst when we heard, or when we found out the news that I think what Marvel Studios themselves are making making video games of their IP. And boy, if you've seen Maximilian's dude vid on that, his sentiments my sentiments were exactly as his. I mean, I
You
could.
didn't like that mobile fighting Marvel game? I thought I was playing Marvel vs. Capcom on my handheld. I'm being facetious. I'm bullshitting you people. I'm just joking.
Well, of course, if you say if that mobile game was actually in a very spectacular working condition, then I must say Super Street Fighter for the 3DS is loads times better than that. Just say. But on to number 6. It's the third-party culprits. Oh yes, from EA to Activision to Ubisoft. Of all the things that they've been doing, the whole microtransactions, the DLC, and some questionable choices that they have made this year alone, actually pretty much capped off every almost anything that happened before this year, because it was like almost like one train wreck after another with these culprits. But I wanted to put the emphasis on Ubisoft. with their fiasco continuing to this day. I'm actually surprised that um uh, which game was this again? Far Cry 4 didn't have that much of a bad publicities. But of all the Assassin's Creed Unity, the Crew, and even bloody Tetris, how the hell
Yeah, how
did
do
you?
you mess up Tetris? That's
At one point that I wanted to bring up to this that, but just about all of these games that I've mentioned are heavy online multiplayer, which I think it was just a year ago or just beginning of this year that Jamie Butterworth made a vid about most of these companies basically dropped local multiplayer for online. And and this dawned the question on me when all of this happened so far. You mean to tell me the business practice that you guys were going for, you can't even do it properly? Oh shoot! Hold on, Mr. Red Fox. I'll be right back here.
Well, now that we're temporarily in a brief intermission, I guess we can talk about multiplayer. Multiplayer. I remember when local multiplayer was the shit. As someone who owns a business that's very arcade machine centered, I can tell you right now, local multiplayer is still the shit. It will always trump yelling at someone um, over a over a headset. And if people don't like that, well, to hell with them. Mario TTB, you still there?
Yeah,
All right. But yeah. This year has been. We're seeing the fruits of the bullshit that third parties sowed years
yeah,
ago with
yeah.
this bullshit, you know.
I think I think that these companies are ignoring a a very big potential problem, and that is customers' trust. Because we have seen that this year Ubisoft, EA, and those big publishers um, have been disappointing their customers by overhyping their games. Maybe they aren't objectively bad games, but they keep telling lies
Yeah.
about making the game to look bigger, or they think that it's not. Like,
Well,
well, you say?
well, I was just gonna say it's more like this. It's like third parties, like they don't have the skill to develop really good games, so they have to hype it up. Cause no one Nintendo didn't have to say anything about Smash Brothers. You knew Smash Brothers was going to be a good game regardless.
Yeah,
Like you just knew because you knew what to expect. With these people, they're like it's like a rap battle, and they need a hype man up there going, "Yeah, boy," and then the actual rap battle happens, and the dude's raps are just whack. But Triple M is back, so we'll let him continue. Continue
okay.
on, Triple M.
Uh, I'm sorry, just a bit of dealings on my end. But anyway, as I was on number 5, I have this is kind of extension of number 6, but this this needs its own. Number 6 is Square Enix debacles.
What? You
And
don't want to play Final Fantasy VII again?
truth be told, I haven't played Final Fantasy VII, but I wouldn't mind playing it. But
Blasphemy.
Yes, I know.
You must be purged.
even though I heard accolades of this game, but yeah,
It changed my life. I was going bald, and I regrew all my hair.
Oh my gosh,
it tingles, and that's how it's fixing. I had really bad dandruff, and then I felt it tingling, and that's how I knew it was working.
Oh my God, you're killing me, man. You're killing me. All right. Well, as the debacles keeps going, actually, from this year, from the beginning of this year in January, things was already turning worse for Square Enix, but when Butterworth was wanting to make a vid about the whole Dragon Quest X thing that we wouldn't be getting it on the west side, for some reason his vid was flagged before he could even publicize it. And what was the video about? Like I said, about Dragon Quest X, asking Square Enix to bring to the West. Now, at first, I would have just said this is all YouTube's shenanigans thing, but I wanted to go deeper, but something tells me no. No, this is just YouTube thing. Just let it pass. But then another thing happened when Square Enix got hit with a lawsuit by SNK Playmore. Some months after, and I'm surprised not many gaming journalists looked into this, but apparently the reason why SNK is pursuing a lawsuit against Square Enix because it seems like Square Enix was using some of SNK's characters in. It wasn't a game. I believe it was a manga that they were that Square Enix was publishing, and while Square Enix was using characters from other companies as well, it seems like SNK was the one that got left out of the loop. And even SNK asked why Square Enix is doing this. Square Enix never replied, and then boom, the lawsuit came on Square Enix behind. And it wasn't even. That was like a second mumbo jumbo with me. I'm like, okay, Square Enix, what the bloody hell are you doing over there? But that wasn't enough. Since for the whole Final Fantasy VII thing, that you would think that actually bring out the Final Fantasy VII the whole revamped graphics engine, all of it from last generation. Oh no, my friend, we'll be getting the Final Fantasy VII original on from the PS1 in 1080p.
I'm like, well, why bother? I mean, seriously. I mean, if you're not gonna, literally. I mean, I hate to take Ubisoft's point of view, but really, that game is gonna look like shit in 1080p. I mean, why? You know, like why?
For me, I'm not even a Final Fantasy fan, but my God, I felt like I got whacked with a hammer and just pooed on my face. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, Square, what the heck?
I swear, Square is run by monkeys. They fling their poo at a wall, they make marks on the wall, and whatever the poo lands on, they're like, well, that's what we're going to do next with the company.
Which is sad indeed. And to be honest, I wanted to go to number 4 after this. So number 4, of all the overhyped games with broken releases. I mean, again, extension of number 6, but this covers more than just the third parties, because I couldn't believe that out of all the first party companies that really shouldn't even have a bad rep, and who also, and the company that also blazed forward with the whole online play, which is Microsoft, with Halo Master Chief Collection, which the online multiplayer wasn't working when it came out. And I believe it's still not working to this day, right? Isn't that right?
It has issues. Sometimes
It's
it
still
works, sometimes it doesn't. All the there are more features in the past version of the game than the new shit that came out, which is unacceptable.
what?
Yeah.
I didn't even know about that.
They just recently patched half of them in. Yeah.
Oh, good
It's some
lord!
bullshit, all right. Yeah.
Unfreaking believable. But heck, I wanted to put Destiny, Watch Dogs, Battlefield, but because this also happened with a first-party game, just from Microsoft themselves. So this is the number 4 spot right here, because it was like the whole new meaning of
Fail.
exactly. Now, which comes to number 3, and Mr. Red Fox would definitely love this, is Sony's shenanigans. I mean, seriously, I can't even begin to imagine that this year pretty much tops all that's been happening, just because they finally got caught with the pants down about the whole uh the whole Vita, yeah, the whole PSP Vita thing, which I keep telling that Sony needs to stop with these things the before their lies come up to them.
They
And
can't do it.
like Mr. Red Fox said, it came and it bit them in the buttocks. Now, since that was number 3, what can top number 3, which is number 2? And this has been going for a while. It's just that this year it's even much more apparent, which is I like to call the misinformations from gaming journalists of Nintendo. And I'll give you 2 examples. It's about the whole Twitch live stream, which again I caught from Event Status vid some time ago, when the news that came to him, he understand that as Nintendo was basically boycotting gamers that that Twitch streams Nintendo games on Twitch, which is that's not that's not at all what Reggie Fils-Aimé said. It was specifically stated from Reggie Fils-Aimé that the company themselves are not going to do it. They're not going to ban anyone from live streaming their own games on Twitch, which I find it very banal. How can you how can you misinform? I really can't comprehend that. And then the second example about um, the whole thing about Nintendo uh, um, will not restock amiibo figures, which is, are you freaking kidding me? You got you guys understand what Nintendo stated that was really not freaking true. And again, Event Status took the news that how the journalist warped it, and I'm like, ah, these these bastards. I mean, how can you construe what was not said? And also about the whole uh, what Red Fox said about the whole performance about the Wii U compared to the 360. I meant the Xbox One and the PS4, which again we do not know the full spec about the Wii U, and this whole thing keeps coming as every time Shadow Fox needs to come in to someone's video and put some freaking rebuttals. Now let's see what can top this number two spot. And here's the biggie: the number one, which even put me into tears of what the heck's been going on through these past years, that we as Nintendo fans were seeing the poop, the cow dung, the elephant's waste is about to hit the fan, is when more than 5 articles that dropped down in one freaking day and stated that gamers are dead. And that's where the whole Gamergate and the Not Your Shield came about. I mean, for so-called journalists, gaming journalists, like they like to call themselves, to say something like that to the consumers that actually consume your news, actually I should say propaganda, and you go out and do this bastardization. And it couldn't stop there. Oh no, my friend. The gaming journalists that perpetuate this type of propaganda even goes all the way to the media outside of gaming, which I just find it very appalling. I really do. And to this day, they're still about this. Excuse me. What surprised me the most that there are some people who won't even who can't even believe or don't want to believe what we as gamers are actually digging out corpses from these people. So yeah, those are my top 10 worst this year.
Okay, then. That was a very good list. It's on to Mario TGP.
Yeah, I only got 5 moments. So
Okay.
um, number one is number five is all the shovelware released on Steam Greenlight. Even when Unity,
Ooh,
That's a good one.
I
even
knew I
when,
missed.
what?
Yeah, I knew I missed that.
I said that's
Yeah,
a good one.
Yes.
even Yeah, even when Unity is a great engine, a lot of incompetent games made with this engine released on Steam is making Unity look like garbage when actually it beats the crap out of any Ubisoft's proprietary engine. Uh,
What? You mean you didn't like Depression Quest?
yeah, yeah.
I'm being facetious, dude. I'm just messing with you, dude.
Yeah. Depression Quest was made on Unity.
No, but it was on Steam Greenlight.
Uh,
You know,
um,
speaking about Steam with all these things about with Jim with Jim Sterling and the
I'm not
yeah,
developer.
fucking Jim Sterling, son.
yeah. These slaughtering grounds, air control,
Hatred.
yeah, a lot of, and those games are made on Unity. That's why I said that those games keeps hurting the reputation of a actually good engine because one, it's free. Two, it's very powerful. So I really think if you are a developer and you are an indie developer, you should try Unity uh, because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. It has the physics engine, rendering, and all that stuff. If you have to make an engine from the ground up, you will have to do it everything, and you will spend a lot of time focusing on developing those features instead of focusing on the actual game design. So, well, number four. Um, Excuse me if I can't pronounce the name of this man correctly. John Riccitiello is the new CEO of Unity. For those
John
who don't know,
Riccitiello, former head of EA.
yeah,
I knew exactly who you're talking about.
Oh
That
snap!
bastard.
uh, for those who don't know, he's the former CEO of EA, and that really scares me because I developed my games on Unity, and I think we will see at least a couple of BS features on the new version of Unity.
What, you mean you're not going to like the social aspect where you can use Facebook and Google Plus to talk with fellow developers over the interwebs for free Unity points, and therefore you can cash in your Unity points to unlock a new palette swap for your shaders?
Oh, that's what I call the new microtransaction, man.
I'm being facetious. Go ahead.
That and some always online feature. You and all your games will only be available via um, Origin.
Oh, God.
I hope not.
You know what?
Also about the support for the Wii U, because the Nintendo Indie Developer Program has two engines, HTML5 and Unity.
Yep.
Yeah, so that scares me a little bit. Well, number three is Meme Run published on the Wii U. Do I need to say more?
Yeah, that was a shitty game. That game is embarrassingly bad. Like, the people who made it should be ashamed of that game. They should be like, you know what? We need to issue an apology to people who bought this game. They need to give people who bought that game $5 back.
No comment here.
And to think that the people who developed that game had to pay around $3,000 to get the development kit just to develop Meme Run.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's mind blowing, man. Well, number two,
Okay.
the fact that the film The Interview got more attention than it deserves. I get that it's a comedy film and has a couple of funny moments, but the film
It's
is
not
filled
very good.
with a lot of famous jokes. The whole plan to overthrow Kim Jong-un is nonsensical, and you can see why even if you watch only a single documentary about the actual country. And overall is a cookie-cutter comedy film that got the attention that God knows how many films of this year actually deserve. And number one is that people keep religiously buying Call of Duty, FIFA, and the other annual sports games while they keep complaining that Nintendo only does rehashes. Those are
Damn,
my
you have a good list.
yeah, those are my top five worst moments list.
You have a damn good list.
Yeah.
You didn't need 10 to get to it, and you actually chose pertinent things that are actually affect gaming. I feel embarrassed that my top 10 moments of this year, some of which have movies and shit, and nothing really as pertinent as that. But I'm not a developer. Like, well, no, I take that back. When I was in college, I made a trilogy of RPG Maker games with some friends of mine, and and we sold them for money. So I guess technically I'm a developer, but not really.
At least,
There's some elitism in the developers that you got to master
C++,
C++
yeah,
and make everything yourself. And that mentality comes from the big developers
yeah.
of AAA titles. And then you see Assassin's Creed Unity, and you say,
Well,
well,
clearly they didn't master C++,
yeah.
or QBasic or anything actually. Um,
And
so I mean,
yeah, and
I think
you are a developer. If you actually finished developing a game on RPG Maker, you're a
yep.
developer.
If
Yeah,
you sold it
so
for money,
yeah.
if you sold it, you're a developer. So I guess
you
it's
know,
time to get to the top 10 best. Although your
Okay.
list, dude, Mario, your list is really fucking awesome.
Thank
I
you.
give my hands out to it. So
Yeah.
here's my top 10. Um, I'm just gonna get into it. I'm not gonna elaborate too much. Number 10, Iwata came back this year like a phoenix that lost like 80 pounds. Iwata came back, and I find it amusing that even from his sick bed, Iwata managed to coordinate. Um, Iwata managed to coordinate an ass whooping that Nintendo's been unleashing since May this year, which is awesome. Um, Number 9, The End of the Hobbit. Thank God this fucking they turned a 320-page book into a 5 part movie. Basically, if I was a Warner Brothers executive and someone came into my office and said, "I have an idea for the for a J.R.R. Tolkien property," I would pull a Robert De Niro from shit, The Untouchables and beat them with a baseball bat. Um, Number 8, Guardians of the Galaxy. This movie was just what we needed. It was Marvel taking out their property that most people have never even heard of, and a lot of people who've heard of it don't give a shit about it, and made it relevant.
yeah,
And it
gotta give
opened the
them props for
door.
that.
And it opened the door for Marvel going balls in with all their other stuff. That's number 7. So we're getting a Black Panther movie. We're getting a Miss Marvel, well, Captain Marvel,
Yes.
but really it's Miss Marvel. There's only one Captain Marvel, and his name was Marvel, and he was a Kree soldier who became Captain Marvel. I don't believe that retcon that, oh, this is the new Miss Captain Marvel. Fuck that shit. There's only one Captain Marvel. Number 6, this is also Marvel related. Netflix is having a Luke Cage and AKA Power Man, AKA Luke Cage Hero for a Hire, and a Daredevil miniseries set in Hell Kitchen. They're 2 different series, but they're going to be set in Hell Kitchen, and it's going to be awesome. I'm kind of upset that the dude that they have to play Luke Cage is young and together, because Luke Cage, like my favorite Luke Cage is the '70s Luke Cage with the afro, and the bell bottoms and the big ass belt buckle and the platform shoes. Because I mean, really, when you get your ass whooped by a disco dude, you know you got your ass whooped. Number 5, I alluded to this earlier. Nintendo kicking ass starting in May, with the drop of Mario Kart 8. And then them going into E3 and kicking Sony and Microsoft's ass at E3, because everyone, all the game journalists, and I use journalists loosely, were like, man, Microsoft and Sony are gonna have it this year. They're gonna totally just destroy Nintendo. What's Nintendo gonna show? And Nintendo basically said, like, people were actually in the YouTube community. Oh man, Nintendo's not having a event. It doesn't count because they're not having an event. And Nintendo took their non-event event and kicked Sony, and literally, for lack of a better term, Nintendo basically pulled out their junk and dick slapped Microsoft and Sony in the face, in the mouth, at this
And
year's E3.
also that for the people that actually had a chance to go to E3 and they call themselves Nintendo fans, and basically just said that they didn't even watch the direct. I said, okay,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
done.
Number four is a moment of contention because I had to put this twice, but for a different reason. Now that The Hobbit's over, hopefully they'll start making some movies that are also fantastic properties that don't involve J.R.R. Tolkien, and elves and shit. Hopefully we can get something from H.P. Lovecraft. Maybe we can get some Cthulhu. Maybe we can get a really good Conan the Barbarian reboot, and not that shitty one starring the guy who's gonna play the next Aquaman, the dude who's married Lisa Bonet. Number three, Smash Brothers just being the shit is awesome. Number two is Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2, I don't care what anyone says, it's close to being my game of the year. That game, and it's just so good. Bayonetta 2 is so good. It's like a milkshake. It's like a chocolate and banana milkshake. I mean, I don't know what your favorite milkshake is, but that's my favorite. I love a chocolate and banana milkshake. And Bayonetta 2 is like a chocolate and banana milkshake. You know it's bad, but bad in a good way. It goes down so smooth. And number one is 2015. If you're a Nintendo fan, 2015 is looking even better than this year has looked. And Nintendo hasn't really dropped that many games. 2015, if you're into gaming, is looking awesome. I mean, like, and even if you're not a Nintendo fan, like January 20th, Saints Row's DLC, standalone DLC is dropping. So you can hit people with a purple dildo in hell as Johnny Gat. Because really, that's how you know you're in a Saints Row game. You hit someone with a giant dildo.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah. In January, also what's dropping is GTA 5 for the PC because they delayed it so that they could basically give the consoles a chance. Because we all know that once GTA 5 drops on PC, in about 6 months, people are going to be dropping some mods for this shit that are going to make the game so much better than anything you can get on console.
Oh, really? I thought they just want to finally taking their time and actually make the game as polished as it should be.
No, that's a bullshit statement. They basically held back on it because the majority of their money is going to come from
the consoles.
From the console. The PC version, like, I guarantee you this summer Steam's going to have a summer sale and it's going to be like 50, 40, 60% off and you'll be able to get it. And
Steam sale,
oh god, Steam sales, the best shit ever. That's my top 10. I guess who wants to go next? Mario or Triple M? Who wants to go next?
Let me take a second again.
Okay.
I have to say that actually I do not have a top 10. I actually have a top 9, and I'm actually being generous with this. To which I am starting with number 9 is something EA related. Yes, they actually done something good, although not quite enough. But hey, I might as well give them a bone when they actually do something good, even though it's not 100%. But a good path. You're going on the right path, EA. Stick with it. Don't deviate from it. Which is, someone's going to hit me about this. When they released Dragon Age Inquisition. Crickets. Okay. Let me explain.
Yeah, it got quiet because it's no Dragon Age Origins. I'll leave it at that. Go on.
Yes. As Red Fox stated on his other vid about 1 step forward, 2 steps back, and I believe I believe you still haven't done a rant vid specifically for Inquisition, right? Oh, someone's having a good time there.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just asking you if you didn't do a specific rant vid on Inquisition, right?
Yes, I did.
Oh, oh, okay. Because um, the last vid that I saw from yours is that um, there was something wrong with Inquisition, but you couldn't quite put it. It seems like I've missed that upcoming
You
video.
missed half of the rant video. The problem with
Oh,
Inquisition is that, in my opinion, and this is your list, but you might think it's a great game if you've played it. If you haven't played it, my problem with Inquisition is that it's very limited. Like, it's based more on Dragon Age 2. So, like, you have your tank, you have your healer, or you have a mage, and then you have your rogue. It's very limited. The problem is that, like, Dragon Age 2 should have been more open than the Origins. Dragon Age Inquisition should be more open than Dragon Age 2. The problem is that Dragon Age 2 was more restrictive than Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Inquisition is better than 2, but that's not hard to do. It's like someone punching you in the throat versus punching you in the arm. Either way, you got punched, but getting punched in the arm is better than getting punched in the throat. Either way, it's
no.
violent.
All right, all right. Yes, I recall those statements. Yeah. Now the reason why I'm giving EA a bone on this because um, this is one of the few games that came out, even though not it um, didn't top the prequel before it, but at least the game is freaking running.
Uh,
Wait, not even that?
it has a lot of glitches. I didn't talk about it because, like, basically the way my PC is set up, so even some games that are like relatively new will sometimes not act according to the way they should. So I'm not going to be like, oh my god, it's the game. But from what I've heard from a lot of people, even on console, it's like buggy and glitchy. But it's game of the year, so you know.
You know what? Let me retract my statement because now I finally recall that that Razor Fist Rageaholic vid about Inquisition. That yes, it really does have a whole lot of bugs and glitches. Only thing that would give Inquisition props for is I guess its story or should I say narrative, which well, they pretty much got at least that they got that done. Got
It's
down
Mass
to it.
Effect. The game is Mass Effect. It's Mass Effect, except instead of a gun, you're a dude with a sword, or a mage, or a dude with two daggers. That's basically what it is. We've seen this story before. It's Mass Effect.
Man, and I was going to make an arrow to the knee comment, but I digress. Now, on to number 8. I have to say, I was in great delight when I heard about this, but at the same time, if I did show up a bit glee, I guess I couldn't call myself a good person anymore. But anyway, it's about the show of Michael Pachter being canned on game trailers.
No, that's good news. Michael Pachter's pain is always good news. Every time he stubs his toe, every time he gets diarrhea, a cramp, everyone's day gets better.
Well, I guess
if he ever gets old and infirm and shits on himself, we're really gonna have a good time.
Oh, absolutely, my friend.
Oh, I'm an old man. I shit on myself. Good, Michael Pachter. Good. Suffer.
And just about all of his statements are, well, really cow dung coming from out of his mouth. But anyway, now number 7 is the day that this game was released, and that game is Mario Kart 8. Now, granted, I do not have a Wii U just yet, but just having this game out in the wild, and actually has its good moments, although there's some things that could be improved, but overall, this game is bloody good from what I hear. And of all the hours that I've put in on Mario Kart Wii, I know I'm going to have a whole lots of hours put in when I get Mario Kart 8. And that's even not counting the DLC, which I gotta say is almost a half. We just got a half a game extra on Mario Kart 8.
That's
I mean,
pretty cool.
yeah, and to be honest, I really wouldn't expect to see two things: a track based in an F-Zero universe, a character that we can race as from Hyrule. I mean, people were asking for a Nintendo card, which I myself was not really for the idea, because if then, well, what would happen to the Mario Kart franchise? It would just be on the wayside. Heck, we can just put F-Zero on the wayside as well. But I will say this, because those were the aspects of DLC, I can live with that. Now, on to number 6, which is another game that released this year. And oh Lord Almighty, this person, this producer, this director, this creator has put so much, basically, so much of his life, his essence in this game, that it came out almost to perfection, which is Super Smash Brothers for the 3DS and Wii U. Again, even though I've skipped Brawl, which, yes, that's blasphemy. I know, and I'm still trying to see if I can get Brawl. But how much I've played on Melee, I know I'm going to have a blast on this Wii U version. I can't say much about this game because, let's be frank, this is one of the games, or one of the best games that came out in 2014. Now let's continue, which will go to another game. Yes, third one in the list, which, in my opinion, and even though I haven't played its prequel, and even though I would have praised that prequel that at the time wasn't even on a Nintendo console, which is the game, is Bayonetta 2. That I would consider a Game of the Year contender. Not like the clowns over at that VGA that says that. Oh my gosh, that's just insulting, man. That's just insulting. But anyway, number 4 is something that Event Status participate. And I gotta say, of all the bad shenanigans that's been happening in 2014, these are the stuff that actually, like Event Status would like to see, and even I would like to see more, is the charity fund of Extra Life United 2014 tournament. I mean, something for even for the children at the hospital. I saw a vid from Event Status that he was actually he was basically almost in tears, being with these kids, knowing that he's doing something here, and through gaming, which is what we all gamers were trying to say to the media, that things can good things can come from playing games, and that's one of them, my friend. That's one of them. Now on to number 3. Something I've been dying to do with another YouTuber here, because this is a movie that we as gamers, or even as fans, that we thought this would never be possible, just because of the butcherings of what Hollywood did. And this movie from Joyeon Sa is Street Fighter Assassin's Fist. People, if you think that a movie-based game, a really well thought out, thoroughly, almost to the perfection of a movie-based game that would come out so good as this, our dark ages has been swept away. And it shows to Hollywood that it is possible to make a movie-based game and still respect its properties. To the people who haven't seen Street Fighter Assassin's Fist, well, unfortunately, it was actually not broadcast. It was brought by Machinima, but it's not up there anymore. It was actually up there for a limited time. So, yeah. But fear not, you can actually buy it online for DVD or Blu-ray, and I suggest you bloody do it so fast, because it's as an SNK fan, as a King of Fighters fan, me saying that this is bloody worth it. Go get it right now. And now on to number 2. I mentioned this on a podcast earlier, that the man himself, the man who refuses to grow up, who's a legend, a living legend, that is Shigeru Miyamoto, actually visited 2 YouTubers, sat down, asked questions about games, and actually at least one of them played played Mario Kart with them, with Bill in tow, of course. Which, yeah, Nintendo not listening to fans. With this, I beg to differ now. Maybe not listening to all of our demands, but hey, at least we can't say that they're living in a bubble, because that is so freaking not true. And now on to number 1, the pinnacle, the best of 2014, which is the E3 2014 Nintendo Direct.
That was a good Direct.
It was so freaking good that even Sony is copying it as we speak.
Yeah, they're trying.
Well, to be honest, I heard, or yeah, I've heard that they started copying the Nintendo Direct since day 2 of the Treehouse Live event.
Yeah. Often imitated, but never surpassed. Nintendo.
And that is, ladies and gentlemen, that is my, well, at least top 9 of the best of 2014.
Okay then, Mario.
Okay, I only have 5. Um,
Okay,
Yeah, I bet it's going to top
but they're
both
going
of
to be
our
really
lists.
good though.
Yeah.
Because if they're as good as your other ones, I mean, they're going to be very good. Go
man,
ahead.
that's a lot of pressure.
I don't know, man. I don't think I can do it. Go ahead, give it a try.
Okay. Number five, the Amiibo Prophets. People have to understand that before video games, Nintendo was a toy company, and the fact that they haven't directly released a toy since the 1960s, and they have already made a tons of cash out of them, it's quite an achievement. Kudos, Nintendo. Number four, the new Star Wars movie announcements. What can I say? I'm a Star Wars freak, so I'm going to watch every single live action Star Wars movie on theaters. I'm just hoping that there's not going to be any Jar Jar Binks bullcrap on the new movies.
Misa
Number
Oh,
happy.
come on.
Misa sad.
It seems like I'm the only one here who loves Jar Jar Binks.
No, I have a question. Darth Vader was evil and everything. Why didn't he kill Jar Jar Binks? I would have been behind him 100% if he'd have done that. Go ahead, sir.
okay, number three, the Sony hack. You know, it's good to see the true colors of those people who think they can do horrible things as long as they hide behind flashy PR. Maybe in the future, generations will learn that Sony is the Enron of this decade. Number two is that since the purchase of my Wii U, I have spent $0 with 0 cents on online services. And number one, since I said there's a lot of shovelware on Steam Greenlight, I think that even with that, Steam is a big platform for indie developers to get the attention for games that any no company will fund or publish. And so it's a this year was a great year for indies. You can release your game on Steam, you can release your game on eShop, on the PlayStation Network, or the Xbox Live, I think. So there's a lot of platforms for indie developers. So when you hear people to complain about video game stagnation, they don't know what they are talking about. If you have a cheap PC, or hopefully in the future, if Nintendo keeps improving their indie program, it's the start of the new era where a lots of new games and risky ideas and concepts, well, we will get the chance to play them. It's a it's it's a great time to be a video gamer, not only a Nintendo video gamer or PlayStation or Xbox gamer or PC gamer. It's a great time to be a gamer, and those are my best moments.
Damn, dude. You knocked it out of the park yet again. This is why I enjoy having different viewpoints and people from different parts of the YouTube community and Gamosphere, because you get to see things from different points of view. And that, I mean, you're, once again, like I said, your top five worst was pretty good. Your top five best is pretty good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll make an interjection here about the indie games. While at first I wasn't very open with the whole indie games, but when I started to see games that came out almost to the to the caliber of like back in the 80s or 90s, the 8-bit 80s or 90s. Say, I have to keep my mouth shut now because I'm actually interested in these games much more than
Yeah.
what's been released on the AAA side.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to say.
You still got your RPG Maker games?
Um, well, I have some of the code, but like, here's the thing. I was the guy. I was the scenario writer. I came up with the story. I came up with the ideas behind it. Um, I did not do the programming or the bug testing because that's not my purview. I'm not that type of guy. I'm the concept guy. I'm the guy who comes in with the idea and then I get the ball rolling. But when it comes to technical stuff, I'm not that guy.
But you didn't made a backup of the game?
Oh, we did. We each had one, but it was on my old PC. And
Oh,
unfortunately, my old PC died.
oh, okay.
Okay, that's crap.
This was
That,
in college, okay? College is when you like literally you have all this like even though I graduated with a double major and I was working my ass off to get that done like before my 4-year deadline because I was like I was tired. I wanted to like immediately get into what my field was. Um, I still had enough time to like do some other activities that weren't like school or class related because if you don't have some type of outlet in college, you'll go crazy.
Yeah.
You'll lose your damn
uh,
mind. So
yeah.
for me, what I did was I did a lot of D&D. I played video games, of course, but D&D video games. And then one day, like I ran out of because like someone borrowed my set and I couldn't play D&D, and someone had borrowed my GameCube and my N64, so I couldn't play my video games. And I didn't have my PS2 with me at that time, so I was like, you know what? I went to the guy down the street, and he like knew how to play video. He knew how to. He had RTP 2000 because that was the one you could get for free at the time. And we made a game. I mean, since then I have tried to do it by myself, but it is so damn time consuming.
Yeah.
I mean, because RPG Maker 2000 and 2003 were really good. RPG XP and Ace and VX are way too fucking complicated for me. Like they,
Yeah, because those use an actual programming language. I
Mhm.
Ruby, something like that. Yeah, I used when I made a RPG Maker game. It was with RPG Maker 2003 and made a Zelda engine.
Yeah. 2003 and 2000 used just triggers. So like your character would walk around and they would hit a trigger and that would trigger an event and that's basically how you would do the game, which works fine and dandy. Even I could understand that. Even I could do like basic programming in that. But
Yeah.
Ruby script, which is what they use for XP, VX, and all that stuff, is like, oh my god, it's headache inducing. So
Yeah, that was one of the reasons I've studied my degree on computer science because I wanted to know what the hell was that. You see, oh, there's this code that changed this. It's made on Ruby, and I'm like, how how can I do that? So I've studied and I understand it now. So yeah, RPG Maker XP, it was powerful, but you have to know a little bit of programming. Uh,
exactly. And
yeah,
here's the thing. First of all, my dumb ass, the first game and the only game that I ever helped make was an RPG. RPGs are like the most complex thing in the world to create.
Yeah.
Because you have to have a really good story. You have to. I mean, even a simple RPG, you're talking hundreds of events going on at any given time.
If you develop a combat system of a RPG from the ground up,
Oh,
you got to do your homework
yeah,
because
that's a motherfucker. I mean, it's for
first you
lack of a
have
better word.
to,
I can already imagine.
yeah, with a pen and paper first
Yeah.
to make the formulas, then the programming. Because if you don't do that, it will be a mess.
Well, our first game we just used the default system. Our second game we moved up to 2003, and we took our 2000 version because the engines were so similar. You could just move your stuff over, and we re-released the 2000 version using the 2003 engine, which really helped, by the way. Thank you. I forget the guy that released it, the company that releases those games. But anyway, those
Okay.
those engines. What?
Yeah, okay. Well, if you manage to get a copy of those games, you should really put those games online. Or
Um, I've thought about it, but the thing is like these games were made like we made them for ourselves. You know what I mean?
yeah, I mean you
It's like
can.
one of those things that we really don't want to share.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's one of those. It's kind
It's
of
safe
like
for work.
no, it's kind of like okay, it's kind of like this. I have made RPG campaigns using like through D&D that are really fucking awesome, but I mean, like those were crafted for the people I was playing with. You get what I'm saying? Like it was specifically crafted with a certain people in mind to play it, and that's how I made these games. So while I and the people who played these games might think they're fucking awesome,
Yeah, some
some
people might
people would
not.
not think they're like. It's kind of like what's it called? What's the name of that fucking by Richard Garrett, the Ultima series. I personally have never liked
Oh,
Ultima. I thought Ultima was always like needlessly convoluted, um, and like needlessly convoluted and a little balls to the wall insane. I mean I understand its historical relevance, but any game where you can buy a lightsaber, a speeder, a space shuttle, and go into space to other planets, find shit, come back, steal it, and like you have a morality system. And I mean, it's like basically Richard Garriott's Ultima series when it first starts reads like someone.
Spoonie made a retrospective of that series.
Yes, he did, and I've played all of those before I ever heard of YouTube. Before Spoonie did, like I played these games. I like watching that retrospective. I had a Nam flashback about playing these Ultima games. Let me tell you something. Richard Garriott, I swear to God, this dude was doing lines of blow when he was making these games. You know, 'cause
Yeah. He said that Richard Garriott, you say, that he puts a lot of reference of sci-fi and that he's a super geek.
yes, he is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Lord British. I mean, this dude owns a fucking castle. A castle.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't mean his house is as big as a castle. It's a fucking castle. It has a moat and secret chambers. And this guy went into space because he could.
Yeah.
Richard Garriott is the nerd success story. But I digress. It's time for us to move to the second part of this cast, where we were going to talk about what the fuck Japan and give a tease for what we'll be doing tomorrow. As you guys may or may not know, I released a video in a new series this weekend called WTF Japan.
That
Where
ain't fishy. That is not fishy.
Yeah, and where I just basically shared some weird stuff that's happened to me. My next episode will be dropping next week, where I will be telling people about the time I almost got my ass kicked by a DDR gang in a Japanese arcade.
Oh,
Um,
stop.
yeah, they take their DDR very seriously,
Oh, yeah, yeah. Just
but
don't ever tell me that.
but I'm not gonna spoil it. Just suffice it to say, I mean, I don't speak a word of Japanese, but these people's body language told me everything I needed to know. But basically, so yeah, I went my last year in school. I graduated a year early, so I didn't do the normal. I'm not gonna say my sophomore, my senior year. I guess it would be my junior year, but not really because I graduated early. Um, and the cool thing is that it was just very, um, like we went to a place that this dude's uncle owned, and I had a tuna fish eyeball, and it was one of the best things I've ever eaten. It was damn delicious, and if I had a chance to go to that place to eat another one, I'd do it again in a heartbeat, because it was that damn good. As a matter of fact, like I would tell other people, you too need to go and eat a tuna fish eyeball. It was that good. It tasted like anyone here ever eaten like someone knows someone in their family that's eaten like a oxtail, like cooked the oxtail. It was like an oxtail that someone had cooked for like 5 hours at a low simmer for a long time, for so long that even the fat in the oxtail gets that beefy gelatinous flavor, and you just eat it because it's all good. That the eyeball was all that gelatinous goodness, but it didn't taste like fish. It tasted like the best beef, gelatinous, fatty goodness. Just oh god. Anyway, yeah, that was pretty damn delicious, and I wish more people. Like I'm just gonna say this much: the Japanese, those people use the whole damn animal, and it's delicious. Okay, like they'll take and they cook stuff. Most of the like I'd say that 75% of the stuff that I've eaten in Japan, that like if I was here in America and someone made it, I would be disgusted. But in Japan, the way they put it together, I'm gonna eat this, aren't I? The only thing I have never eaten is fugu, because the whole concept of eating something that might kill me is just a little. That's a little too far even for me. But let's see.
Is it that type of fish that if not cooked properly, it will kill you?
Yeah.
No, it's the puffer fish. It's the blowfish, and if you don't butcher it correctly, it will kill you.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I'd say some parts of that fish are poisonous, so you'll need
All
a.
of it's poisonous.
Yeah.
Even when they butcher it, it's still got the poison in it. It's just there are parts of it that are more poisonous. Like if they have to take the liver out, which is where the poison is stored, and if they nick the liver as they're taking it out the fish, it'll poison the entire fish and kill your ass. So I've always been kind of I stay away from the puffer fish. When I went to Japan my last week there, they were like, "Hey, you wanna go?" My host, he was like, "Well, you wanna go? We can go get some fugu." I was like, "No."
Like no, I will stick with my bag of chapulines. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was. No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. The reason I didn't eat the fugu was because, first of all, that shit can kill you, and second of all, like, he was gonna take me to his friend's restaurant, and I'm like, I'm going to a professional chef that has a low record of fatalities if I'm gonna eat fugu, not your friend. You know, I mean, here's the thing. Even like okay, like I went to the fast food. I went to the McDonald's. I went to the Burger Kings. I went to the KFC. Even their fast food restaurants are higher class than the shit we have here. I mean,
Oh
they're
yeah.
McDonald's. It's like these people actually cook the hamburgers. I don't mean like you go to McDonald's, they like put the thing in like this thing. It's not actually like Japan. They actually cook the hamburger. It's actually good meat. Like literally, they gave me. I got a Big Mac at McDonald's in Japan, and literally it was like I made the hamburger myself, but not in that way. It was like I made the patty myself. Like it was actually a patty with like the secret sauce and the two patties with secret sauce, and then on the three buns with the lettuce and the tomato and the onion. It was just, everything was just so. My God, it was so delicious. But yeah, so stay tuned for more.
I would like to see a IGN review of a fugu fish like too much poison, 7.8 out of 10.
Yeah. There's two. No, IGN reviews Japan. Too much water. Sorry. Like, dude, it's a fucking island. No, too much water. It's an island. It's an island.
I still can't wrap that out in my head, man.
Here's the thing. They reviewed Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. The whole game is about water. The main Pokemon.
The thing is what gets me the most. Heck, you just can't surf on that there. You actually dive underwater. I mean,
I guess.
Why did too much water come at that?
Because they're lame. I mean, let's just be frank. They're lame. I guess I'll just give you guys. I wanted it to be a surprise, but I guess I'll give you guys another hint about our next thing before we get into the questions. Tomorrow, if I can get this panel together, we'll be doing the resurrection of one of my favorite franchises. One or two of my favorite franchises. That just we don't see a lot anymore. And I'll give you a hint. It involves a man with suspenders beating the shit out of thugs. That's your only hint. So let's get to these questions from Anderson Archilla. The first question is, what is the one thing that everybody is especially looking forward to in 2015? He says the return of Star Fox, Zelda U, the new 3DS, the new IP Splatoon, Codename Steam, and Scalebound, E315, or something else. Who wants to take this question?
I'm looking forward to Zelda U. Nothing can be. I can't look forward in terms of games more than Zelda U because I nearly played every single Zelda game. So I just want to play Zelda. So I am really don't care that much about any other games for 2015. Regarding AAA games, indie games there's a lot of so yeah. I still play Mario Kart 8, and there are some Wii U games I haven't opened up yet, so I'm good for now. So the only game I'm looking forward next year is Zelda U. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I'm not looking forward for any other game. But that's the if I can play more than one game for the next year, I will choose Zelda U.
All right, that's actually a good answer.
Well,
You've once again made a really good answer to a question.
yeah.
You want to go next, Triple M, or shall I hit it?
Let me go for it. I'm actually looking forward to even just a glimpse of the return of Star Fox. Zelda U, you can't go wrong with that, which we just we just saw again a glimpse of off-screen footage and actually playable footage of Zelda U. So um, yeah, I got goosebumps seeing that. But yeah, and at the new IP of Splatoon, yeah, also on my radar.
Yeah.
Um, Codename Steam. This let me just say, it kind of got my itch for RTS because back in the 90s, I actually did play Command and Conquer. Even though Codename Steam is a much more um, grid space system, I'll definitely delve in that. But I'm also um, wondering if we're ever going to have um, the Famicom Wars, or Battalion Wars, or Advance War, however you want to name that series. Um, Ever since the we known about the Wii U gamepad, I always thought, you know what, so, the Advance War series would really go hand in hand with that Wii U gamepad, and also. Uh, while not out next year, no. Before I get to that, um, when Miyamoto made that comment about that there's not going to be a new Mario, yeah, a new Mario game for the Wii U, and it's actually for the next gen console that Nintendo is working on. To be honest, I do not have a problem with that. With all this the crying about Nintendo rehashing the
Yeah.
character Mario. Yeah, so yeah, hope the people who's been crying about that, hope you're happy now.
No, they will keep saying that anyway.
It
So,
doesn't matter. They
Yeah.
look. I've told you people this before. Nintendo can't win. They cannot win. You finished Triple M or?
um, yeah, as I was saying, um, while this game or this indie game is not coming out next year, it's actually this year, and I think it's already been released. I'm actually looking forward to get my hands on Shantae and the Pirates Curse. I think. Yeah, I'm looking forward to those.
Okay. I guess I'll get involved. Um. Well. Damn, man. It's a good question, Anderson. But I guess I like all of them. I'm looking at the Return of Star Fox, Zelda U, the new 3DS, Splatoon, Codename Steam. Okay, Scalebound looks interesting, but I'm not buying an Xbox One to play it. E315. I'm looking forward to E315. I want to see if Nintendo curb stomps Microsoft and Sony again.
The
Uh,
E3 Live event.
I just want to see it. I want to see Microsoft and Sony try and steal their thunder, but and you can't steal the King's thunder. And you're forgetting one game as well. Xenoblade Chronicles X. Oh my
Oh
god.
snap!
If I get every single if I just get Nintendo games next year, I'm still gonna be giving Nintendo a lot of money. And I don't mind because they're gonna be good games. So I hope that answers your question. I'm looking forward to everything in 2015, especially shit from Nintendo. Our next question is, speaking of people believing their perceptions instead of actual truth, will people finally stop seeing Sony as the savior of gaming and Nintendo as a company as bad as Ubisoft and EA, if even a little bit in 2015? I'll answer this first. Yeah, they'll see it, but like here's the thing. Like anyone saw that IGN podcast after E3 where they had to admit that Nintendo won E3, and like everyone looked like they were forced to eat a turd while they admitted it. Like that's how people are gonna feel when they have to admit that Nintendo basically grabbed everyone by the balls next year and squeezed really hard. Um, Yeah, I mean they're gonna have to admit it, but it's gonna be hard. Sony, I mean, like how many months is Sony gonna say greatness awaits and nothing comes? So
And
you
even if
know,
it and even if it does come, it's not that great either.
yeah, it's
They
really not
never
that great.
said where it's going to. They said greatness awaits, but they never said where.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to wait for greatness because ever since I bought a Wii U and
Yeah,
I
it's
got,
there.
you know, I'll give you credit. Okay, Nintendo Land is not everyone's cup of tea. I like it, but not everyone's gonna like that. But New Super Mario Brothers U, Pikmin, Wonderful 101. If you don't think these games are good, fuck off. Um,
Maybe greatness awaits is their version of waiting for Godot.
yeah, yeah. Okay then. So, who wants
Oh
to
yeah,
take this
I
question
forgot.
next?
Xenoblade Chronicles. Yes, that's Xenoblade Chronicles and Zelda U. I don't know why I didn't remember that. But yeah,
Yeah, we
those.
both did
I'm
that.
just glad Nintendo is spacing out their games. Like Nintendo isn't
Oh
doing
yeah,
what so many third parties are doing, where they clump all their like. A lot of third parties are guilty of this. They put their games either in January, February, or like Black Friday, and nothing comes
summer
out during the
release,
summer,
winter
and
release.
it's so fucking annoying. It's like why? I mean, like because the summer is the time where you really want to play games.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
who else wants to hit on this question before we move on to the next one?
I will say this. Um, Denial is such a powerful drug. Like, yeah, on the whole Ubisoft and EA thing. Um, I heard Event Status said that he doesn't see Ubisoft as bad as EA, just because EA has done this for for a while now. But I will have to say this: I definitely would consider Ubisoft as bad as EA. Reason one, even though it didn't take Ubisoft that long, or hasn't have that long of a track record uh, to be in this pile of dung that they are now, but it's how rapidly their their reputation went down. That is as bad as EA. How it was like a record. I mean, almost to the point of beating EA. That hey, we're running the worst company of the year this year. like the event after event after event, things got bad to worse with Ubisoft, and about halfway into it, um I was still rooting for them until, let's just say, um, my patience just popped out of the window and just, you know what, EA, up yours, Ubisoft, up yours. But yeah, as the whole perception, the perception thing, I say, like I said before, denial is a powerful drug.
I think you got it twisted. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Um, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Well, I just use the word denial because they're seeing it in their eye. It's in their freaking eyes, in front of them, even slapping them to the face, and yet they're still in denial about it. I'm like, Jesus Christ, my friends, are you guys so blind?
Uh,
Yeah. So Mario Teacher B,
yeah, what are you guys talking about? I went for a glass of water.
The question is, speaking of people believing their perceptions instead of actual truth, will people finally stop seeing Sony as the savior of gaming and Nintendo as a company as bad as Ubisoft and EA, if even a little bit in 2015?
Well, I think by now people already know that I really like Nintendo. I mean, they are not perfect, but I think they are the best of the three. Um, I have no respect for the Xbox division, and I think Sony. No, I don't like Sony either. Even when I had a PS1, a PS2, and I have some PS3 games. But no, um, I think that the moment when people will realize that Sony is not the savior of gaming will be the day that Sony falls, that Sony fails for bankruptcy. I think because after the hacking of Sony, um, seems like that never happened. You know, people keeps defending Sony. So, so yeah. Um,
Yeah. Yes. Speaking about the whole hack thing, actually, before I get into that,
I
I
think that when excuse me, go on, sir.
well, yeah. I wanted to say that I myself, I am not a fan of Microsoft. As I said before, I was not a fan of Microsoft even before they came in the console market. But oh my, I was actually more rooting for Sony than Microsoft. But oh my gosh, after these several years, I
They
I
will
just couldn't
eventually
anymore.
run out of money, so
And
they mm, um, people think that it's not true, but some journalists are bought. So,
yeah, and
and one thing I remember when the PS3 network got hacked some years ago,
uh-huh.
uh, the CEO that stepped down this year, Jack Trenton, I remember. I watched a few years ago a Screw Attack game where they applaud Jack Trenton for apologizing for the PS3 network hacking. That I mean, I'm pretty sure that if the Nintendo network were hacked, they will then say Nintendo is doing a great job because I still don't get why. How many times the PlayStation network has been hacked?
I think
Uh,
after three counts, I lost count after that.
yeah, but they keep. Oh, they are great anyway, and I'm like, why are they keep defending them? I'm I'm pretty sure that if one hacking, that if the Nintendo network were hacked, you won't see the end of articles saying that Nintendo is doomed or Nintendo's Nintendo's network is lackluster of insecure or something like that.
Oh yeah,
But
they would hammer Nintendo on that thing. But
yeah, so I think the only way that could change the people's perception of Sony It will be if they file for bankruptcy and while people keep saying that, oh, that's not a problem. The PlayStation brand can go on. They can spin off the PlayStation brand, and everything will go perfect. And I'm like, no, that's not going to happen.
Well, the PlayStation brand is like 50. They owe the rest of the company $50 billion for propping them up during the PS3. So yeah,
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 first,
that's good.
Yeah.
if a company, uh, I don't think Sony will ever spin off the PlayStation brand due to
They
the
can't
debt.
afford to.
And also, I don't think any other company, Samsung, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, any other big company will actually buy the PlayStation brand because they also buy their debt. And the only thing they will get is the name of
Yep,
PlayStation,
yep.
and people don't get that Sony is money hatting the third party developers. So it's expensive. It's not a good business decision to only buy a brand name.
You know,
Um, it's like buying the Sega name for making a Sega console. uh, you have to do a lot of investment. Um, uh, uh, the games, I mean the games, okay, you buy the PlayStation brand. So what else you get when you buy that?
Well, you get 4 or 5 really shitty first party exclusives. You get a mountain of debt. You get a hardware division that is barely turning a profit. You get a lot of studios that don't really produce games that don't break even.
Yeah,
I mean, Sony is a lot of smoke and mirrors. They want people to believe that they, you know, do all this stuff, but it's bullshit. Uh, let, uh, yeah,
yeah.
it's bullshit. I'm sorry.
I was gonna go in. I was gonna go with Samsung thing, but before that, in my perspective, um, I've seen so many things that Sony has done. I can't believe I'm actually saying it to myself that actually Microsoft is a much better company compared to Sony, which uh, I really couldn't see myself saying that until now. But
Microsoft itself is not that bad. It's a company. It's a North American company, and yes, they do some shady things like any other big corporation, but they are okay. Microsoft
yeah,
is an okay company. The problem is the gaming division, as Mr. Red Fox said before, and I said before, they are like a spoiled child that keeps spending their parents' money.
Yeah,
yeah,
So
exactly.
at any moment, if the higher ups of Microsoft decide to either spin off the Xbox brand. Uh, the Xbox brand can't survive by itself. They really need Microsoft's money. They really need those pennies that Microsoft has in the pockets. If Microsoft starts losing money, I think the first thing they will do is close the PlayStation brand. I
well,
mean the Xbox brand.
Well, I hate to break this to the people who keep on saying that Microsoft made all this money this holiday
Really?
season because they cut the. Well, people keep on saying that. Well, they made all this money. I'm like, do you not understand
Oh
how
my
business
God!
works? Because I mean, and then I'm just gonna say this, and then we're gonna move on to the next question because we got to wrap this up. Um, um, the Microsoft, like, okay, Microsoft was selling the Xbox One at a loss when it was $4.99.
Yeah.
Okay, they were losing, let's just say a nice round number, $50 on every console sold. They were going to make that up by selling your data to advertisement agencies so they could customize the advertisements on the Xbox dashboard. Because remember, the 360 used to not have a lot of adverts, and then like Microsoft's the Xbox division started selling adverts to people, and that's how they were making some money off of the Xbox 360. But that's how Microsoft's Xbox One was going to make up that 50, so it wouldn't be sold at a huge loss. Unfortunately, they had to move that shit back when people were like, wait a second, this is some bullshit. Then they had to lower the price by $100, so it's $150. Then they lowered the price by another $50, so that's $200 that they're losing on every console sold. But wait a second, there's another kick to the nuts for Microsoft. Every console has a Blu-ray player in it, so they have to give Sony $25. So that's $225. I mean, I'm being, it could be less than that. It could be 175, could be 200, could be 225. That's a moot point. Business-wise, every time you sell a console, you're losing $225 or $200. You shouldn't be losing money like triple digits every time you sell a product. That is
Yeah.
fucking stupid. And anyone who says, "Well, they got more in the household," yeah, but their first party shit doesn't sell very well either. So, I mean,
Yeah. If you find a hobo on the streets and the hobo says you got some change and you give him $1, that hobo has $1 more than the Xbox division.
yeah, I mean, people don't seem to understand this about the Xbox. They lost a fuck ton of money over this last month and a half in order to say, "Oh, we got more units into people's houses." But they aren't selling first-party hardware enough to make, like, Nintendo can do that. Nintendo's like, "Okay, we aren't selling enough Wii U's. Okay, we'll sell them software." And that's okay because literally it costs less to make software than it does to make hardware. That's a fact. It costs less to print a $60, $40, $50 game than it is to make a $500 console. And anyone who thinks that someone who we outsold the PlayStation, big fucking deal. How much money did you make off of your software? Let's not talk about that. Exactly.
And not to mention, this deal is actually limited all the way to January.
Well, the limit doesn't even matter. They lost so much money. It's like here's the thing. Phil Spencer, I'm telling you, when he goes to see Nadal, he's gonna have to pull down his pants, bend over, look behind him, and say, "Please please be gentle." Our next question is: even after all, this is from Anderson Archilla. Even after all the BS third parties have pulled in 2014 alone, people still side with them and put them on a pedestal. Were people this dumb back in the day? Well, considering that I think I might be the oldest gamer on this panel, or up there, because I'm an old bastard now. My parents were married when they had me. But I can tell you, as a matter of fact, no. People weren't that dumb back in the day. See, what you have to remember is that back in the day, every console had exclusives. Every console had a game that was like, even if it wasn't exclusive, it was like its game that you bought that console for. So the Atari had Pong. Coleco had their sports games, which looked like the actual sport. Intellivision had their sports games. Magnavox had I think pole position, like a pole position ripoff. Like every console, and even after you move from that generation, like with the Nintendo had Mario, Sega had Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Nintendo had, lots of RPG. Like every console had its niche, if you will. and their own first-party IPs that sold the console. When Sega left the console market and Microsoft came in, Sony never really had a strong mascot. Like, it seemed like every generation they'd try and come up with a new fucking mascot. And Microsoft never really had a mascot. And I know some people, Master Chief. If Master Chief is Microsoft's mascot, they're fucked, okay? Because Master Chief is like, there's nothing to characterize the character. He's a dude in armor with a gun. There's like 50 million dudes in armor with a gun.
Yeah, I would like to people who keeps talking about hardcore games and such. If in 5 years they can name the protagonist of those first-person shooters, they say hardcore gamers should play. I couldn't. Like, can you please tell me the name of the protagonist of Call of Duty? Call of Duty 13. What was it?
Let me answer this. Let me answer this. The protagonist of this Call of Duty game is Smith and Wesson.
Yeah.
No. It's an AK-47. No, wait a minute. It's an M16. No, you know what? Let's just say there's many characters in there.
Yeah, but those games actually have stories, isn't it?
I won't say that
stories, but what I mean, it's not that they aren't that memorable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the problem. I mean, we've seen basically, but what my point was basically is that third parties like Sony and Microsoft are so desperate to have games on their console, they have gotten on their knees and kissed third parties where the sun doesn't shine. Yeah. Because they don't have strong first parties to say, you know what, you don't want to bring your shit to my system? Fuck you. We'll make our own.
Does any one of you guys remember the name of the protagonist of Watch Dogs?
Ethan something? Dylan?
That game came out
just a randomly angry white guy with a stick.
With iconic hat. Yeah, actually for the PlayStation 1, there was a mascot. It was a really ugly 3D purple face, but...
Yeah, it was Nico. Well, actually, they had like 5 mascots during the PS1 era. First, in Japan, when the PS1 first launched in Japan, was Nico Nico. It was a cat. And that was their official mascot for the Japanese PlayStation. Then, when they brought it over to America, it changed to Crash Bandicoot and Spyro. And then they tried Pa Rappa for a little bit. And then the dude from Spike from Ape Escape. I mean, I'll give Sony props. They really tried during the PS1 generation. And then during the PS2 generation, they said, fuck it.
Yeah, one thing I don't understand of Sony, when they actually had money on the PlayStation 1 era, I don't understand why they don't came up with their own mascots, why they have to rent Crash Bandicoot. It's really that hard to develop a character like Crash Bandicoot.
Well, I can answer your question. It's pretty simple. Sony is not a video game company. Sony is a tech company. Like, it's kind of like this. Asking Sony to come up with a Dynamite mascot character is like asking Nintendo how to make a Dynamite pasta recipe. It's not their strength. It's not what they're good at. It's not their wheelhouse. Nintendo makes games. They're good at that. They've been doing this shit for 32 years. You ask Nintendo to make a video game, you have no question. You don't have to ask any questions. You know it's going to get done. If I ask Nintendo, hey Nintendo, I need you to make a Blu-ray player, I'm going to be a little worried because that's not their thing.
Yeah.
Sony, they couldn't come up with a mascot because that's not their thing. Sony are tech guys. Like, the reason the Super Nintendo had such a dynamite fucking sound chip is because it was designed by Ken Kutaragi, who used to be one of the high-ups in the PlayStation, in Sony. As a matter of fact, he eventually was made head of the PlayStation division. He was the first head of the PlayStation division. But, I mean, that's just, I mean, you know, Sony just... they've never had the talent to make really good IPs. I'm sorry. They pay other people to make games for them, but they don't have the talents to make in-house shit. They don't, that's not their, not when it comes to mascots and video gaming, because that's not their, I mean, these people who are Sony fans who love the PlayStation brand so much, you realize that, like, the PlayStation brand is like a side hustle for Sony, right? It's not like their main thing. Even though everything is losing money except the PlayStation division, PlayStation was never their main thing. Sony's main thing is selling technology formats. So the original PlayStation was CDs, the PS2 was DVDs, the PS3 was Blu-ray.
Yeah.
They push tech. That's what Sony does, and that hasn't been working out too well for them.
Now that we're talking about do you guys remember that that article that in that webpage of the 20th anniversary of the PlayStation brand, they put a picture of Mega Man of the Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U.
Yeah, they're so lame they can't even come up with the Mega Man games that were, like, Mega Man Legends 2 was exclusive. I believe Mega Man Legends 2 was exclusive to the PS1. They couldn't even, but I mean, that one was blocky and ugly looking, so they wouldn't put him in their nice little thing. They got to steal something from Nintendo, something that Sony is very fond of, by the way.
But it was really sad when I browsed in that collection of characters, because they had Waco from Animaniacs, and I'm like, man, this is 2014, and really? Animaniacs?
Now, I will be fair. I do like Animaniacs, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty
oh,
sure there was an Animaniacs game on every console. I'm reasonably certain.
But
I
the
think
game
so as well.
they had on that collection was a PS1 shovelware bowling game of Animaniacs. So
Well,
my
they suck, don't they?
what?
I said they suck, don't they?
Yeah, and why people keep saying that the DS and the Wii are the kings of shovelware, while PS1 and PS2 are also flooded with shovelware.
Well,
They
that's how
have
you
a
know.
lot of shovelware.
Well, that's how you know a game. That's, believe it or not, people get mad. But that's how you know that. That's how you know that a game is. That's how you know a system is successful. Is that it has shovelware. So really, when you see a system getting a decent amount of shovelware, it's successful. Because basically developers know that if they spend like $100,000, like $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 to make a shovelware title, they know they're going to make profit off of it.
Yeah.
Because that's what developers do. Like, I mean, I don't know about indies, but I know third-party developers, what they'll do is that when a system first launches, they'll put good games on the system.
Yeah.
First, to give their teams a chance to really, you know.
Yeah, like Capcom, the support they gave to Nintendo 3DS was actually really good, but today, not even that.
Well, I mean, what I mean is like they shoot in order to build an install base. They throw. I mean, the unusual thing about the Wii is, I mean, the Wii U is that most of the first games from third parties during the first year were just fucking shitty ports, and they weren't even good ports. They were shit. Like, most of them were shitty ports, and they were like surprised that people didn't buy it. I mean, and yet yet to be honest though, I mean, the shit they've been putting on the PS4 and the Xbox One, I mean, it kind of parallels. I mean, Rise, Son of Rome. I mean, come on, man.
Oh.
But I mean, let's get to this last question.
Okay.
Whew, then we are done. Answer questions. Should I? This is from Anderson Archilla. Should I try to get Xenoblade Chronicles now for my Wii U if I can find it, or wait for the new 3DS version? Anderson, I would wait for the new 3DS version. That way, you won't have to give it. Just wait for the new 3DS. Yeah, you'll have the initial investment for the new 3DS, but think about it. You will not have to give any money to GameStop for that game. If you don't want to, it'll probably be on Amazon or at Walmart or Target or Best Buy. Because at this point, I don't want anyone giving GameStop any money directly or indirectly. So, and plus, you'll have Xenoblade Chronicles to go, which is always useful to have a game of that depth and that cakiness and that density to go.
This for me is my I am actually torn on this because I like to play on the console, not on a handheld. And with Xenoblade Chronicles, I actually wanted to get the original Wii version, but because damn you Nintendo, because this one is only in GameStop. I'm like waiting, sit back and see if it pops up somewhere else besides GameStop, or I might as well get the new 3DS version for it. So I'm kind of torn on this.
What?
Mario TGP?
About yeah, wait for the new 3DS version. Yeah.
So, yeah, unless you can find a really good deal outside of GameStop before that game hits 3DS.
I don't
Yeah.
think if he wants to legally play Xenoblade,
Yes.
it's going to be hard to find a good deal because, as far as I know, that's a rare game, isn't it?
Well, it's not just that. I mean, GameStop started reprinting it, but they're charging people $50 damn for the game, whereas
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Nintendo only charged $39.99. And if you have a 3DS, like I have a 3DS XL, I'm probably just gonna take that shit, transfer my data over to my old 3DS, trade that motherfucker in for put $50 or $60 to the new 3DS, and that's gonna be my that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna trade that motherfucker in because I mean, frankly speaking, I'm one of those people. I've always had like 3-4 Game Boys, 3-4 Game Boy Advances, 2 Game Boy, two DSs. Now I got 2 3DSs. I'm one of those dudes. I mean, I can trade one of them and it doesn't hurt me.
Yeah, something as a backup.
Well, not just.
But I will say, I will ask you this, Red Fox. Now, if that 3DS that you have is some sort of a limited edition, would you trade it in?
It is. I have the Mario and Luigi new 3DS, but the thing is that I can trade that in for one of the new editions because all of the new 3DSs have cool stuff about them too. So either way, it's going to be awesome. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, if you want to play legally that game, you should wait for the new 3DS release because also it's portable. You can play that game on the go, and what's not to like about that game? So,
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you get it on the go. It's kind of like when I first got what was a game that I really just lost my shit when it was portable. Dragon Quest 3. because I had that game on my NES and I played that game so damn much it wasn't even funny. But when it came to the Game Boy Color, I lost my damn mind. I was like, oh, I can play this to go with new dungeons, more content. You got me. You got me.
Yeah, that is with new content. You got me right there as well.
Okay, so we've answered all the questions. That's everything. Xenoblade Chronicles for the Wii U. So I think we all unanimously said that the new 3DS version is the one to get because fuck GameSpot. I mean GameStop. We're not giving them a dime. I remember one day I went in there and I was just looking at the price because I have the game, but I was like, well, how much are you guys selling this for? Because I have some valuable stuff in my Wii collection. They're like, well, it's $90. I was like, fuck you. I didn't say it, but in my head, I was like, you motherfucker. These bastards actually legitimately were charging at one time like 90, 80 bucks for this game, and I'm like, you
Yes,
really?
that was.
That's messed
I
up.
almost.
Yeah, Raciaholic made a video about GameStop, and when there was a high demand for the Nintendo Wii, they were actually hiding them.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Son
don't
of
give
a gun.
your money
Forgot
to
about that.
don't give your money to GameStop.
You
Here in
know,
Mexico, GameStop doesn't exist, but even I know that's a really crappy store. So
well, I mean, I know this is gonna sound terrible, but like, okay, because of the nature of my business, I get a lot of like gift cards and shit from various people. Like GameStop, not EB, GameStop, Amazon, Google, Sony Network. I get Xbox cards, but I don't own an Xbox, so I give those to people as gifts. Like I get a lot of gift cards, and they're like, well, what you gonna? I'm like I get a lot of gift cards with them, so I have a card with them, but it's not my money that I'm spending, so I don't feel as bad about it. But if you are spending your own money at GameStop, don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. So that's the last of our questions. Anyone want to plug any of their stuff before we wrap this up?
yeah, now that this year it's coming to an end. One of the things I like it's to remember the stupid things some people actually say. Uh, there was a video of a channel. I'm not subscribed to him as anymore. Review Tech USA. There was a video where the founder of Atari said that Nintendo was becoming irrelevant or something like that.
Oh,
I
I
got,
remember that. Oh, God, no.
I
Oh.
remember I got on an argument with a user, uh, and I think that was more than a year ago. Uh, yeah, I think it was before the PlayStation 4 launch. So he said something like he was older than me and he knew better that Nintendo was doomed and all that jazz. And he closed the conversation saying that he will enjoy Zelda on his PlayStation 4 in 2014. Uh, so
Oh,
no, yeah. So nope, that didn't happen, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, the hilarious thing is that Nolan Bushnell said it. Like the man whose
yes.
company helped crash the video game industry in the first place. That Yamauchi had to like reach down deep and pull that shit out of the swamp of shit that Atari drove it into. But this guy's got some shit to say about Nintendo.
Now
Yeah,
that is a freaking nub at the
that's funny.
balls.
Triple M, you've got something to say before we wrap this up?
Yeah. Well, I still have this Nintendo Direct project that I'm that I'm making, but oh my gosh! Finally, I've actually finished day one. So at least day two will be a much more streamlined or easier way to process until I reach the day three. So I'm not sure if I'm going to actually um, um, call up Mike and just go with only day one and in parts, but it's let's just say I still haven't given up on it. So you guys will definitely see it.
All right, guess it's my turn. Basically, I've got a couple of things. One of which is coming on tomorrow night. Is my first episode of the Resurrection podcast. This is one for December because I like to give content immediately. We'll be resurrecting one of my favorite brawlers of all time, giving our ideas about how to bring it back, what the game would play like, its mechanics, all that type of stuff. And I'll actually have a game developer here with us, Mr. Mario TGP, if everything works out. Knock on wood. Along with another guest, someone else who wanted to be here tonight but couldn't make it. So it's going to be awesome. Triple M, myself, it's going to be great. And maybe Coupon Strides. And I also have another episode of WTF Japan coming out next week. Like I said earlier, it'll be me describing how I almost got my ass kicked by a DDR gang. So that's going to be fun. So you know, look, I'll be upping the amount of content I'm dropping to you guys. And my anniversary for this channel will be coming up. I'll do something special for you guys then. So yeah, it's going to be great. And with that, I bid you guys a good night and have fun.